Now we will continue the last lecture about the group technology. The last lecture is available on the YouTube channel Engineering College Banswara. So you can refer all the lectures is available on the Engineering College Banswara YouTube channel. Now moving to the third method of the group technology. This method makes use of information contained on a root sheet rather than on part drawing. Work part with identical or similar routing are classified into part family. The procedure of production flow analysis follow. Data collection. The data such as part number, operation sequence is collected from manufacturing data contained in the root sheets. Sorting. The parts are separated and arranged into groups according to the similar or identical routing. Preparation of chart. The chart is a tabulation of the process or machine code number of the part family. In this tabulation, the entries are cross mark. The cross mark X indicate ith part requiring jth machine. If Xij is equal to 0, there is no processing of ith part on the jth machine. So actually you can see or you can observe this classification product flow analysis or production flow analysis. In this we are using the set or actually mathematical equation to create the mathematical model. So that mathematical model should be analyzed on the any computer system. So it is very easy to create the algorithm and part program for software. So you can see these are process flow analysis. Here we have number of part and is a machine number. So you can see the part number 4 has to follow on the machine 5 to S79 and rest of the machine process. If you take the example of the part number 8 that should travel from the 4 and 1. So this is a simple process flow analysis chart that we have to study during the machining process. The production of analysis is a method for identifying part families and associated machine grouping that uses the information contained on process plan rather than on part drawing. The work part with identical or similar process plan are classified into part families. These families can be used to form a logical machine cell in a group technology layout. You can see, you can even analyze that in the earlier two classification or method, we are not using any similar or we are not using the relation basically. In first visual, you can normally observe the drawing or part and you have to group that all the part in different part families. In second, same, but it's somewhat different. But in this, we are using the logical relation between the different part to create the part families. The process in production flow analysis must begin by defining the scope of study, which means deciding on the population of part to be analyzed. Fourth one is, this is a very important and this is almost used in many industries nowadays, part classification and coding. In part classification and coding, similarities among part are identified and these similarities are related in a coding system. This classification and coding may be carried on the entire list of parts families. Two categories of part similarity can be distinguished. Design attribute, which concern with part characteristics such as geometry, size, and material. Manufacturing attribute, which consider the sequence of processing steps required to make a part. So in this, basically we are considering two attributes. First is design, second is the manufacturing. And you can see that design attribute is related with the some dimension, size, and material. In manufacturing attributes, we are identified a sequence of the part that has to be followed in the different machines. Part classification code. A reason for using classification coding system. First is the design retrieval. A designer faces the task of developing a new part that can be design retrieval system to determine if similar part already exists. A simple change in the existing part would take a much less time than designing a whole new part from scratch. So you can see why we are using the advanced system, coding system. First one is the design retrieval. In that, suppose you have one part or you have one shaft that has 3 steps and 2 hole and 1 keyway, suppose. Now you have earlier you have created the road sheet and all the design information for that part, but after some time you got some new design with the similar features, but the dimension is different. Now what we do, we basically search that part, if this part or similar part is available in our design or not. Then we will modify in that part and again we will save as new part. So it will save our time as well as the effort. The automated process planning. The part code for a new part can be used to search for process planning for existing part with identical or similar code. Machine cell design. A part code can be used to design machine cell capable of producing all member of the particular part family. Types classification code. First classification of part refer to grouping of part on the basis of essential features of the part. Second is the coding, is the process of assigning symbol to the part. This symbol may be a represent design attribute or manufacturing attribute or both. First is the part classification scheme. The following 3 types of system are used for part classification on the basis of the following attributes. First, system base, basic external shape, internal shape, length diameter ratio, material type, part function, measure dimension, minor dimension, tolerances, surface finish. So you can see these are the basic dimension and attribute that we can use to identify the part and to create the part family. So this is no in this case much knowledge is not required. A basic skill that can be used to identify the group. That was the design attributes. Now we will discuss about the manufacturing attribute. So major processes. Suppose your part need to be passed through the milling or turning, or it requires some other special machining operation. Minor operation, a measure dimension, a length to diameter ratio, surface finish, machine tool, operation sequence, production time, batch size, annual production, features needed, and cutting tool. So these are the number of parameter that is we are using in the manufacturing attributes. System based on both design and manufacture attribute. So we have combined together both the slide. Coding scheme. Now this is very important thing. Coding system use number digit. There are three basic code structure used in JIT application: hierarchical structure, chain type structure, and hybrid structure. So these three are used in the coding system. You can see hierarchical structure. In the structure, integration of each succeeding symbol depending on the value of the preceding symbol. So hierarchy means what? Second should be depend on the first, and third should be depend on the second. So when you interpret anything or succeeding symbol, that it should be followed by the preceding symbol. The hierarchical structure is known as the monocode. This provides a relative compact structure which convey a lot of information about the part in the limited number of the digits. The first digit is 0 to 9. Divide the part into major groups such as machine part, cast part, forged part, or sheet metal. So now you will get some clear idea that suppose first digit, suppose you have any bar code and you got first digit from 0 to 9, and from that you can identify, suppose you have 0 number. The 0 number is related to what? It is a machining part, it's a casting part, or forged part. So from first digit you can identify the major group. Second digit may subdivide the machine part into a rotational or non-rotational part. So from the barcode, suppose you have second number. So from that you can, without seeing that part, you can identify that part should be rotational or non-rotational. If it is rotational, that you have to send that part into the lathe machine. Third and subsequent digits may partition the machine into subgroup. Therefore, the digit in a hierarchical code cannot be interpreted independently. The interpretation depends on the information contained in the preceding symbol. So from this structure you can see that total part population, cast part, machine part, forged part, sheet metal part. Machine we have different rotational and non-rotational. Even in that we have different category rotational. Basically it's a very simple. When somebody gives you the code, from that code you can identify the whole operation and the sequence of the part without actual observing of that part. So the rest of the thing we will continue in the next lecture.